My name's John Henry. I was born and raised here in Washington State. I went to school in Cheney, right outside of Spokane at Eastern Washington University. And right after graduation, I moved out here to Seattle. You know, I don't remember when I started riding. It's been so long. And probably as soon as I could really walk good and everything like that. My dad started me on skis, so I'm sure not shortly after there he started me on a bike. My perfect Zen mountain biking moment, it's that time when all you hear is your bike, you hear your freewheel, that spin, that zzz, and you know, you're linking everything together. Your turns are perfect, you're dipping in and out, you're up and over things and around and through, and that is the absolute greatest feeling in the world. We are at a small aerospace company in Kent Valley in the state of Washington, which is just south of Seattle. What I do, I'm the facilities engineer here. It means I may wear many hats, anything from keeping the phone system up and running all the way to the environmental compliance. This is our large duct shop. Basically, what we do here is build the ducting in the aircraft that brings you your warm air and your cold air inside the cabin. You know, when you twist a little knob and you get that fresh breeze, this is what brings that air to you. I got a degree in an electrical engineering degree. That's what I went out looking for originally. I really didn't want to leave the Northwest. For everything that I do, this is, you know, perfect. For the skiing, for the mountain biking, for the whitewater boating, you know, you couldn't ask for anything better. The nice thing is I usually bring my bike in, like on Thursdays, we go riding all the time. There's a place called sea-tac, which is like 5 minutes up the hill from here. So there's nothing better than coming in here, and then I could just pile into my rig, and 5 minutes later, I'm up the hill and riding. Something that took me the longest time to get used to here is the noise. It's everything here either hums or whistles, or there's just a sound of machinery and motors running and grinding. And that's one of the greatest things about biking is I just love just hearing the sound of just my bike and nothing else.
My name is Ryan Finnegan. I'm 28. Grew up in Redmond, Washington. Tore my ACL skiing about 4 years ago, and part of physical therapy was biking. And so bought a used bike off a buddy and started riding. We ride as much as we can. We go to work early. We leave, you know, so we can get out and we can get out to a trail early. Actually, everything else kind of comes secondary now. It's, I mean, you know, you got to go to work and you got to be there as much as you can. But you know, when stuff's slow, the first thing on my mind is, you know, how can I wrap this up so I can get out and get 2 more hours on the trail? People who haven't done it don't get it. It seems like it's just, why do you spend so much time doing it? But it really is. I mean, that's what makes me happy, and that's why we're after it. We're at work right now. We do CD, DVD duplication, and other kinds of project management fulfillment. We do between 30 and 60,000 discs a month, and then we're doing a lot more print and packaging jobs now. So yeah, this is my first job out of school. I started out doing the production stuff because my brother was working here. Most of the time people know not to bug you when they're out riding and you're stuck at work. It's, they know that you want to be out there just as bad as they are, and so it makes it tough. So everybody's pretty good about it. We make it out every Thursday at least, no matter what. And that's just kind of the way we keep ourselves sane.
My name is Mike Finnegan. I'm a sales rep for a software company. And I grew up in the Northwest, a few miles east of Seattle, in Redmond. Started riding bikes about 3-4 years ago. My brother blew out his knee skiing, and part of his rehab was to pedal. I started out with a hardtail, so I had a little bit of suspension in the front, nothing in the back, and a lot of it was just cross-country trail riding. We'd ride around here. It's pretty convenient locally. I mean, we could ride out of the garage and find some good trails that were close by. John's been riding the longest, I think, out of our group, and then we've kind of, you know, through friends of friends, kind of got a group together, and so we've got a mix of different skill levels. And Ryan and I have been riding about the same amount of time. We both got bikes together, really, and he's just got bigger stones than I do and more free time, so he really goes for it. I like the adrenaline. It's a nice hybrid. Still get to be outside, still get to be in the fresh air and pedaling around to kind of keep pushing my own envelope, and it's good to get a little nervous. It's kind of keeps me fired up and keeps me going out. Every time I go out, there's always that one run where just everything clicks and it feels right. Get down to the bottom and just got a big stupid grin on my face and everything worked out, and it's like, yeah, that was it.
We are at Ryan Finnegan's house. I don't know what condition he's in yet this morning to see how we're gonna do some riding. Hello. Looking a little worse for wear.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
I went to bed a couple hours ago, and I'm not sure why.
Oh, he'll be solid. I've seen him in much worse shape. So he's looking pretty good today. He's hydrating, so. Typical downhill bikes, you know, for high top end, you're looking at about $3,000 nowadays. The wheel sets are beefier. You're using bigger tires. You're using hydraulic brakes. Of course, the frame, the shock and the frame or the front fork and the frame are the most expensive two components. You're getting up in travel 6 inches plus. My bike, I ride a Demo 9. It's got 9 inches of travel in the back, 8 inches in the front, and it was over $3,000 for that. But compared to what they used to be, it's actually much more affordable, because cross-country bikes you'd be paying up to $3,000 too for a top-end cross-country bike, where it used to be, you know, you'd be paying $7,000 for a downhill bike. That's not the case anymore. It's just the technology and stuff's there, so they're being able to produce them for cheaper. Here we are down at sea-tac. We're going to be getting out a lot today, so. Sea-tac is a little bit of green belt that they actually stripped the plans to build a third runway, and then that whole idea fell through, so what they ended up doing was just turning it into a nice little park area, and they ended up giving a section in the back of the area to the local mountain bikers. So we built a flow park out there, and that's where we'll be heading out today.
You pretty much have full body armor. For guys like me, it's saved my life more than once. There's the chest protector, and then it's got spine guard in the back, goes all the way down. You know, you wear this stuff so that you can push yourself and learn what's going on.
Most of the time, never use it. I mean, it's just insurance. So yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and it smells funny and it's hot, but when you need to cash in on the policy, it pays for itself.
know, this kind of stuff really helped us with our racing in particular. We were more used to trail riding and stuff, doing up at 38, and there's not too many big jumps up there. There's a few little gappers and a few doubles and things. But once we started racing, we realized that, you know, there's big doubles, there's tables, there's step-ups. These are all common parts of a race course, and coming out here allowed us to work on that.
I don't even know if you can call it mountain biking, but it's definitely a subset. I mean, you know, we're not pedaling, we're gravity sleds, and we just slide down the hill, and it's more of an adrenaline kick, and holding it together in the middle of the air and trying to outdo each other.
It's great to watch the progression of everybody. I mean, that's the most fun part about all this is everybody moves at different speeds and learns things at different days. And
We find places like this and we just start pushing ourselves and testing ourselves, just like doing these jumps here.
And that's the big part of it, is the hardware. Get up there and get on a bike that's comfortable and, you know, makes up for when I screw up, and lets me take, you know, 7 inches of suspension to suck it up and not jam my spine through the top of my helmet. That used to be only available to pro riders who were sponsored by bike manufacturers, or, you know, just the uber rich and, you know, who could drop 5 or 10 grand on a bike. The sport is so young, you know, a lot of people don't really understand it. So when they see people come downhill with all this scary gear on and full face helmets, and in a lot of ways it's like snowboarding was a decade ago, people didn't understand it. So you'd get snowboarders up on the mountain and skiers would be looking down their nose at them and a little hesitant, not knowing what's going on. So the more people we get into this, the more, you know, more we spread the word about it, the more people will realize, hey, we're responsible, we're environmentalists, we love to be outside, that's why we're out here doing this. We're safe, we're considerate, you know, we want to share the trails with everybody. So, you know, we want to be able to ride in places other than underneath the flight path.
adrenaline never gets old. It doesn't matter whether you're 7 or 17 or 70. Everybody, you know, adrenaline junkies, that's all we are. That's all we do. Now it's cool because you can get on a big bike when you're young or old, and it's not as dangerous as it used to be.
We really started getting into free riding the last couple years, probably the last 3 years. We'd been cross-country riding for probably 8 years, and we'd really started to push ourselves, and we were pushing harder than what our bikes would allow. We were breaking a lot of equipment, and we started getting bigger bikes.
Woo! Did you get that?
I like it because you get to go and do the same thing 4 or 5 times in a day, rather than when you're cross-country riding, you ride up a trail, it takes you a couple of hours, and then you get up and you get one run down, you get one shot at it. And this way you get to session stuff over and over and over again, and it makes the learning curve a lot faster. It makes it more fun.
You look at the way mountain biking progressed from road biking and recreational type biking. Free riding has just been the next evolution of that.
The trails out here are a little bit limited. Some of the stuff is kind of underground. We try to keep it less visible.
We've got a slug of trails that I'd say are very free-ride, downhill friendly, but it seems like it's a battle that we're slowly losing, because more and more so the trails are getting closed. They're getting turned over to hiking-only trails, and we're not being allowed out there anymore, even though the trails were originally built by mountain bikers.
People don't seem to like cross-country riders working, you know, riding on their hiking trails.
Which is really bizarre, because we're the guys out there, we're the ones cleaning up the trails, we're cutting the trees out from the windfall.
You got to respect the trail. You got to respect the environment. You know, we had a big windstorm a couple of years ago, and John and Mike and I were up there every weekend for a month with the chainsaw clearing it all out.
It's really funny because it's forced a majority of the free ride community to go underground, and once you start getting into that group, you realize that every little niche of free ride guys, you know, that main posse that they hang out with, either has a trail that they're building, or they know of a trail that one of their buddies is building. We can't let people know about the trails we have, because they get taken away, they get closed down, they get bulldozed under, but it's forced us to go underground.
I'm hoping that as the sport develops, you know, we will be able to have more mountain bike specific trails.
slowly having everything taken away from me. It's kind of ironic. When I was a kid, I got a tick bite actually. And here in Washington State, I got Lyme's disease. I was only one of 2 reported cases at the time, and they didn't know it was Lyme's disease. It was in my head, so they didn't see the telltale signs, the yellow circle and things like that. And for years after that, I got sick and had problems with my joints and things like that. And I had several surgeries. I had 4 surgeries on my knees before they finally figured out what the problem was. And what had happened was the Lyme disease turned into rheumatoid arthritis. So basically, my body was destroying all my joints. I've got the joints in the body of like a 50-year-old man right now. Scientific community, the medical community, whatever it is, there's no cure. There's nothing for it. All they can do is prolong it, and so I've been fighting that. It's been a battle of mine since I was about 16 years old. I found out, and when I found out, they told me I was supposed to be in a wheelchair when I was 25. I'm 27 right now, so I beat that by 2 years, and which, you know, I mean, I'm pretty proud of that, and it's been a battle. It's been a real struggle. And this winter was especially tough. I had skiing taken away from me, another one of my loves, and it's just something I can't do anymore. And my knees and my hips, it just doesn't allow me to do it like I'd like to do it. Free riding, what it allowed me to do was still get out and enjoy the trails. Yeah, I can't go on the 30-mile epic ride anymore, and I can't go and climb this mountain and climb this pass and do this and that, but I can still get out there with my friends and enjoy just being out in the mountains and riding the single track and doing the things that I love. The whole fact that a wheelchair is looming in the back of my mind, and I don't think that'll ever go away, and that's always a fear of mine, and it's just, I got to get as much in as I can, and that's the way I think it's always going to be. I could have given up a long time ago, and there's people, I'm sure, that do that, and as soon as they hear bad news about something, they shut down, and that's it. They give up everything that they had, everything they knew, and I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep pushing it, and as long as I can. And once that time comes, once the inevitable happens, and whatever, I'm happy. You know, that day could come tomorrow, and I've had the best riding days anybody could ever ask for. I've made the best friends in the world, and I'm perfectly happy. You know, I even if I couldn't ride anymore, I'd go out and I'd run shuttle for these guys. I'd run a video camera. I'd pull the wagon with the beer cooler. You know, I'll always be involved with it. I'll always do it, and it'll always be a part of my life. Maybe not as it is now, but I won't be upset. The future's bright for us. It really is. I've seen this sport come so far in the last 7 or 8 years.
I can see the future of free riding going somewhere where skiing went 10 years ago, where all those young kids got on short skis and the equipment changed.
I think the future of this sport is getting a broader audience, having more venues for riders like us to play at. There's ski hills that are great opportunities. They're closed all summer long. Well, you know, you can open them up to a whole new crowd of people who are ready to go for it. And then there's trail systems all over that right now are set up specifically for hikers, and biking's not allowed. But I'm hoping that within the next 10 years or so that we'll figure out a way to share it all, and so everybody can get along. I think that big grin, I think the excitement, the reason that I keep pushing it is every day I go out, I can feel the improvement.
Freeriding is my escape, and the daily drudgeries and everything that I deal with from day to day, and freeriding lets me escape that.
Yeah, you can never wait to get back on the bike. It's weird. I never expected it. I didn't ride all growing up. I was never on bikes that much. I got on it, and it changed me completely.
This is learning about myself and my own physical abilities, and limitations.
The perfect ride is the one that is silent. Having it silent and effortless that's what I'm looking for.
You could be 12 feet in the air and sail 20 feet over the table, and when you land, it's like you never left the ground. It's just like you're floating down through the mountain, down through the trees, and it's just, that's what I look for every time, and I get that at least once every time I ride.
This is something different. This is something I'm doing just for me, just for myself, just for my mind, body, spirit, and kind of balancing that out.
It's my drug, and I can't get enough of it, and that's all I do it for.